James was walking down the college hall. Suddenly, he saw a portal. A mad scientist appeared in front of him, grabbed James, and took him to his lab. James asked the scientist to let him go, but he answered, "You're gonna stay here forever." Henry grabbed a notebook and a pencil and offered the scientist a deal. "If I write your age in this notebook, will you let me go?" The scientist got very intrigued and said yes. James wrote a note in his notebook and was free to go. What did he write? As promised, James wrote, "Your age." Anna went to her favorite restaurant for lunch. She made an order and went to the bathroom to wash her hands. When Anna returned, she found out that her bag was missing. The waiter said that he seemed to have seen a man with a neck tattoo who ran into the second floor of the restaurant. Anna found 3 suspects. Can you spot the thief? This lady over here. She's the only one who has a large enough backpack to hide Anna's bag. And besides, there's a wig inside her backpack. Tom is a professional scammer. He sells poor quality cars. One day, he faced the consequences of his actions. Someone scratched his car and wrote the word fraud on it. Tom looked through his calendar and interrogated 3 suspects among his recent clients to find out who did it. Will said that his car had served him perfectly fine. Kelly didn't use her car because she had left for a business trip for 2 months. And Amy said her therapist advised her to learn to forgive everyone. Who is lying? It's Amy. Her nail polish is the same color as the scratches on the car. Take a look at this picture. Can you spot anything odd? This broccoli doesn't match the overall pattern. Look at this picture very attentively. Can you find an odd unicorn? In fact, all unicorns are odd, but this one definitely doesn't belong here. 3 sisters found their father, who was a billionaire, unconscious in his home office at 12 p.m. Detectives questioned all 3 sisters. Tilda said that she had spent all morning in a gym. Leah said that she'd come over to her father's office at around 10 a.m. to feed the fish, but she hadn't seen him. Ginger said that she'd been sleeping after a party the day before. Who is lying? Leah is hiding something. Look at the fish tank. It's empty. No water, no fish. Anna was painting a bench on a pier. Suddenly, she saw a handsome guy in a boat. She had a long eye contact. It was love at first sight. But when his boat left, Anna turned around and noticed that her bag was stolen. The thief can't have gone far, she thought, and asked the local guard for help. They found 4 suspects on the pier. Can you spot the thief? This woman over here. Her legs are stained with the same paint that Anna used to paint the bench. Erica trains tigers and lions, but unfortunately, one of them escaped this morning. Look at this picture attentively. Can you see the tiger? The tiger is standing in front of the poster in the left corner. How about this picture? Can you spot the odd emoji? This farmer's hairstyle is different. Jessica woke up in a creepy basement. She searched the area and found some old furniture and an antique mirror. Suddenly, she noticed 3 doors, but there's a dangerous monster behind each door. The first monster has the ability to turn living beings into stone. The second monster is very angry and strong, and the third monster has venomous teeth. Can you help Jessica to choose the right door? Jessica should open the first door, show the mirror to the monster so that it would turn into stone, then escape. Peter is a ghostbuster and blogger. One day on Halloween, he received an anonymous letter which said that a real ghost was flying around the local park downtown. Peter packed up his equipment and ran to the park. But when he arrived at the described destination, he saw a crowd of people in Halloween costumes. Can you see the real ghost among them? This woman on the right doesn't have a shadow. Take a look at this picture. Can you find the odd emoji out? This guy over here has a ponytail. Rick was walking down the beach and met a beautiful lady, Amy. It was love at first sight, and he asked her out on a date immediately. But Amy said that Rick should ask her father's permission. She led him to a company of 3 men sitting in loungers. Help Rick identify Amy's real father. This man on the right has a necklace similar to Amy's. He's probably the man. The owner of a ski resort called Detective Anderson. The previous night, during a heavy storm, someone had stolen all the hotel's cash from the safe. It was the end of the season, so there were only 3 guests. So, the detective questioned all of them. Henry hadn't left his room the night before because he'd been watching a hockey game. Jill said that she'd taken a sleeping pill and passed out. Diana said she'd been partying all night and returned 20 minutes before the detective got there. Who stole the money? It was Diana. There weren't any footprints in the snow leading to the hotel. Take a look at this picture. Can you spot a ghost? The first guy, he has delicious food in front of him, but he didn't start it. The second guy has a half-filled drink near him. The third guy has an apple with 1 bite. Neil and Alice went to a famous steakhouse for dinner, but everything went wrong from the start. They found a waiter lying unconscious in the bathroom. The police arrived at the restaurant in 5 minutes. They questioned the staff. The first cook said that he'd been in the kitchen roasting meat. The second cook said he'd been cleaning fish for sushi. The third had also been in the kitchen making a salad. And the fourth cook had been on a lunch break. Who is lying? The second guy. Who serves sushi in a steakhouse? Take a look at this picture. Can you spot anything weird? This fish over here is different. Richard has recently signed a multi-billion deal. He wanted to share the good news with his wife Kelly immediately, so he drove to her gym, but the receptionist, Fiona, didn't let him in because he didn't have any training clothes. Fiona went to look for Richard's wife herself. Can you help her determine which one of these women is Richard's wife? If you paid attention to details, you noticed that Kelly must have blonde hair. It was on Richard's suit, which means that this brown-haired woman isn't her. Although these 2 ladies are twins, only one of them is wearing a wedding ring. Therefore, the third lady is Richard's wife. Take a look at this picture. Can you spot anything odd? There's no honey in this jar. One day, Detective Mike received a phone call. A woman yelled, "Help me please, I've been robbed!" Mike arrived at her apartment and found her sitting on a chair, tied up and gagged. She said that 2 men had gotten inside through the window. They'd tied her up and taken all her money. What did they look like? Mike asked. The woman had no idea because they'd both been wearing masks. After hearing the story, Mike arrested the woman. Why? Her hands and mouth were tied. She couldn't have made the call by herself. Jane woke up in a creepy room. The door was locked, but she noticed a note on the wall. The key is hidden in a secret place. Also, a needle with a thread was attached to the note. Find the secret place and help Jane to escape. Here it is. These seams are made with the same thread. Kelly was hiking alone and taking pictures for her travel blog. She entered a cave with beautiful stalactites, but suddenly an earthquake started and the cave began to shake. But she forgot which way she got there. There are 4 tunnels. Poisonous bats are hiding in the first tunnel. The second tunnel is full of fire. The third tunnel is filled with gas, toxic for any insects. And the fourth tunnel contains radioactive plants, dangerous for humans. Which way is safe? The third tunnel. Toxic gas is a problem for insects, but Kelly is a human. Look at this pattern very attentively. Can you spot a weird ghost? This little guy over here. Dan is a waiter in a sushi restaurant. One night, he disappeared in the middle of his shift. The owner called the police. Detectives talked to at least 3 people who saw him. A hostess said that she'd only seen him when he got to work and parked his bicycle. The chef said he'd seen Dan in the kitchen when he came to get a glass of orange juice. The cook said he had last seen Dan going upstairs. After their statement, the police arrested the cook. Why? This is a 1-story restaurant. Dan couldn't have gone upstairs.